Hey everybody, this is Dr. Cohn, casual, sitting on my front porch, and I was just thinking about something that I think is important, and that is the big picture of the healing that I've seen. I've had enough aha moments over the last year and a lot more over the last month of what I've seen with people reaching a stage of what I would call stable health. And so I wanted to explain, how do you get there? Um, When people first come to the office, they usually come in because they're complaining of something. Something's wrong. Very commonly, people must start with cleaning out hidden infections and identifying if they have a food allergy. Those are usually the top priority type things that are commonly the first thing. So, to clean out some infections, possibly some parasites, some yeast infections, fungal infections, mold, sometimes some viruses, various things. That can take a few weeks to a few months to finish cleaning out all of that stuff. Diet change can happen rapidly. You can go home and say, "Oh, I didn't know that milk was a problem," and start avoiding milk right away and see if you feel better. But that's usually the first phase of getting better, is removing some of the irritants, particularly food allergies and infections. Now, then you transition into phase two. Now, some people present where they don't have any infections and they don't have any particular food allergies. Then they start off at phase two. And usually, what that is where they have to do some nutritional support for the organs to heal. So, I find very commonly that the thyroid is an issue. The thyroid needs some nutrition to support it starting to work better. People often get off of their hormone replacement therapy for the thyroid if the thyroid starts working better, which is awesome. Um, People very commonly need some nutritional support for the heart. People commonly need some nutritional support for the liver, for the kidneys, for the adrenal glands. But usually we're identifying some of the genetic tendencies in phase two for trying to help people get the nutrition they need for kind of rebuilding, repairing. And that is where people start to really feel better. They get some of those active forms of the B vitamins. Some people need a little more zinc or iodine than they have in their diet. Some people need a little bit of various specialty things. Everybody's a little different. That's phase two. And then often I see people go into a period of calm, which can last for a month or two, maybe longer. But this is often a period where things appear stable and you're just kind of enjoying the fruits of all the work you've done. You have the vitamins, you're mostly infection free, good diet, avoiding the things that are food allergies. So you're cruising and having a good time. And then after a couple of months, your body has this natural process of going into phase three. So phase three is doing the deep detoxing. Mercury, lead, aluminum, pesticides, plastic residues, chlorine, air pollution, any of the things that we've been around most of the time, all of our life. It's not like there's something that you need to detox that you got exposed to last week. This is old, 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 deep cleaning. It's like spring cleaning. And when your body was in a state of stress, it was actually too tired to do this cleaning. So what happens in phase three is your body starts feeling good enough that it starts detoxing spontaneously. Your body starts detoxing all these old toxins. So then it's a bit of a work again, very worthwhile work. But phase three is very frequently just making sure that the liver stays supported, the kidneys stay supported, the lymphatic system stays supported for allowing these things to come out. Now, the detoxing for metals, mercury, lead, aluminum, other people on other doctors say that it takes a year or more for just mercury. But I have found that if you're laying the groundwork of getting the body healthy, that when their body's ready to detox mercury, it often happens like in about 4 weeks or less. And then I think the body goes through waves of detoxing similar items. So there may be some toxic metals kind of coming out on a particular week or month, some toxic, more chemical type things on a different week or month. But usually the body goes through a month or two of doing some really heavy detoxing. And from what I can see, after you go through that phase 3, that is stable. You've removed the irritants that could be present. You're kind of caught up. Your body is supported with the vitamins and minerals that it needs. And also when people pass through phase 3 and they get into the maintenance phase, let's call that phase 4. Phase 4 is maintenance. People need often something like one of a particular B vitamin, one zinc, one iodine, one of a different B vitamin, and one E. So it's a lot of one of this, one of that. So when you're taking those 1, 1, and 1, those indicate that you are stable. When you're needing 6, 12, 7, 5, those are, we are working to repair or rescue me doses. When people are getting into maintenance, it gets down towards 1, 1, 1. And a lot of things fall by the wayside as you don't need it anymore. But I've had a lot of patients get into that phase recently, and I just wanted to congratulate them. This is not something that people do. You need to do some work. You need to work through some of these phases to get into the stable zone. We all have different amounts of stressors that are stacked up. We all have different genetics, but this is the patterns that I see. Get rid of the infections and food allergies. Do some nutritional support for your body and organs to function better, heal, detox, and then you're into more or less maintenance. There may be some fluctuations with what you need for maintenance depending on the season, because each season brings different allergies in the air, and some people need a little bit of support, say during ragweed season, but they don't need it other times of the year. Other than that, it's usually just maintenance, and that's when I start seeing people once every 6 months or once a year, just kind of for a maintenance type check. Or if you have an emergency and you want some nutritional help for a particular condition. But this is not talked about in mainstream health, medical type approaches to health, or just, it's not information out there on what you have to work through to get towards feeling stable. It's often just put out fires when they pop up. There's no proactive, let's get healthy to a certain level of health. And another thing that I see is I'm striving for all the time is when someone comes in for the testing that I do, applied kinesiology testing, nutrition response testing, various ways of testing, I am looking for that wonderful visit where I check and I find nothing wrong, where I check and you're stable. So when we find that, we celebrate. I give people a gold star, which is like, I don't just hand those out very commonly, but I hand out a gold star when things are looking very stable. So I encourage anyone who's wanting to actually have really good health to work through these phases of healing until you get into that stable zone. And then stay on those things that keep you stable. They are rarely herbs. They are most often the things that keep you stable, things like a couple of the core vitamins or some minerals. And they're usually not that many. It's usually, maybe around 4 or 5 things. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but those 4 or 5 things are your core things for keeping you feeling great. Now, if you stop those, you won't die, your head's not going to fall off, but you will feel less good, and you will probably have a tendency towards accumulating toxins again, or being less resistant to infections, or your mood's off a little bit. So these things that are for maintenance are for maintenance at being excellent. They're not things for maintenance of just barely getting by. They're maintenance things for staying at that high level of feeling good. When we're feeling good, also we tend to think of other things like, let's go do something. You don't think about your health because you're feeling good. You don't think about your knees or your headaches or your back. You're like, hey, let's go do something. I feel good. Let's go live life. So I wish all of you to have that state. If I can be of assistance, let's work through these levels of things together. It takes some time and some discipline and some regular checkups, but that is what I see. And so I thought I would just let everybody know what I'm seeing, and let's work through these levels together. I'll see you on another video. Hope you're having a great week.